Hey guys, we're here today talking about the New World closed beta and 10 things in it that I disliked or did not particularly care for, because clearly Amazon is listening in on my channel. One note I want to make is that overall I really enjoyed New World's closed beta and had a blast in it. I don't actually have any major complaints with the systems in the game, beyond obvious things like bugs and performance issues, which aren't going to be in this list because that's something Amazon is clearly working on. These 10 things are small items or details that are clearly by design I just happen to disagree with or don't have full understanding on why it's the way it is. Number 1 would be the map notification system. When you open your map, if you are in a territory that has an upcoming war or invasion, the game alerts you of this by putting a big notification over the settlement. This is not a big problem in and of itself, you just click X on the box and it's gone. But every time you pull up your map again in that area, the notification pops back up. This may not be a problem for people who are out just enjoying the game world at the moment, but for people like me who have a little bit of OCD and to click their map button a lot, it can become quite irritating. It would be nice to have the option in the settings to disable it alerting you over this upcoming war or invasion over and over and only do it once, or if they just adopted the same notification system they have for increasing your territory standing on the left side of the screen and have your upcoming wars or invasions have a number on here of new notifications you have not seen. The second thing that I disliked was campfires being on the road. This is again a very minor one that is not a big effect later in the game when people are spread out to the game world. But early on in the game, when everyone was in the same settlement, there were campfires placed everywhere. Not only is this immersion breaking, but it's displaying a whole lot of effects on your screen. I'd like to see Amazon make it to where the roads themselves and the paths can't have campfires built on them and they are restricted. You have to be off the road a certain amount of distance before you can place a campfire, clearing up all the runways and the pathways. This may be a little bit of a nuisance early in the game when you're trying to find somewhere to put your campfire and everyone's rushing to place one down just for the quest, but later on in the game it wouldn't be much of a nuisance and I think it would clear up all the pathways much better and make the game look a lot cleaner and nicer. Number 3 on this list is the tracked resources being up on your compass. Once you progress different gathering trade skills to certain levels, you begin tracking items on there. This is actually a really cool system, and I enjoy the ability to be able to track it and having to have the skill in order to do so. What's annoying to me is if I naturally get my harvesting up for plants past 25, but I don't actually plan to be a harvester or care to track them, there's no way to shut it off of my compass, making the compass very cluttered. I would prefer to be the hunter of my group or my guild, and only track animals on there so I can easily identify what's in my area. The tracked resource system is very cool. I would just simply like a way in the menu to be able to disable certain ones so I don't have to have my compass cluttered with all of these items. Number 4 is that I would like for PvP quests to operate slightly differently. I actually enjoyed the fact that these PvP quests were not just some basic kill 3 enemy faction members, and actually had an objective you could accomplish even if there was no one in the area. And the fact that they push you into PvP areas to incentivize conflict is a really nice design. What I don't necessarily like is losing the PvP quest on death. Now, whoa, hear me out. I do agree that you should not get any territory influence once you die. However, losing the entire quest on death de-incentivizes people from doing PvP, since you get no returns if you just went out and lost a 1-on-3 fight. It would be nice that if I got the progress finished and died, I lost all territory influence and even got lesser experience rewards or faction tokens, but I still got something for my time. As it is right now, if I go out into an enemy territory and I try to push the meter even a little bit, I go out and complete all 3 quests, but then happen to get jumped by a group of 4 and obviously lose the fight, I got nothing for my time. You should definitely not be able to push the territory influence with death, but I would like to see some consolation prize for even participating in PvP or going into that area and being able to complete a quest, especially when you're in enemy faction territory. Number 5 is a simple one, and that's the Warhammer Size. Now, I've seen some data mine stuff of different weapons in the game, and some of these have mentioned two-handed maces. If that is the case and New World plans to add different weapons, then maybe it makes sense that the Warhammer is so massive because it's representing something different than I'm imagining in my head. But two-handed maces or clubs in any other game are not this overly massive. The Warhammer in New World looks like something you could not possibly hold up or wield in any way. You could give a reason for it just like the Gravity Well or any of the magic, in that the world itself and the Azoth is influencing it and giving you powers that you don't normally have. But every other weapon in the game follows at least a realistic structure in how the weapon would look in real life, except for the Warhammer, which is entirely too big. Again, maybe New World has plans to add some different two-handed mace-like weapons, and this is not exactly your basic Warhammer. Number 6 is the toggle options for sprint, jog, and walk. Right now, you can flip your toggle to switch from sprinting and jogging, and in combat, the jog will kind of be a walk. But the only way to walk outside of combat is to hold a key the entire time you want to walk. I know walking is not helpful at all in combat situations and is only good from a roleplay aspect, but I happen to like that aspect, and holding one key the entire time I want to walk in a town is not very nice or useful. It should be a pretty simple thing to make walking a toggle key and not a hold key, or at least give you the option. On top of this, I'd love to see sprint be a hold and not a toggle, again, in the form of giving me an option. Now, in my opinion, sprint should take some form of resource pool or take your energy pool, same as dodge does, but that's an entirely different topic. I would just love for the moment the option to be able to hold it instead of toggle it. I'm all over the place there. I'd like to toggle my walk and hold my sprint. And New World is exact opposite. The 7th thing that I kind of disliked in New World were the weapon skill colors. Maybe it's something I just don't understand, and someone can hop in the comments and explain it to me. Some abilities have an orange background, some have red, there's purple, green, and blue. I may be missing some colors. Originally, when I got in the game, I thought these signified different ability styles. Like purple was going to be all the taunt abilities and red was DPS. And then later on I started thinking purple was crowd control, but I never really got an understanding. There was no consistent system for it, and I'm very clearly wrong in what I thought they were. If someone does understand what they are, it'd be great if you enlighten me, and I would really appreciate that. If they don't represent anything, I don't understand why we have the different skill colors, and why not have them represent something. You could select a certain color for crowd controls, some for taunting abilities, some for ranged, but at least as it stands right now, they're just a confusing thing for me that just seem to be there to add color to your UI. If that is the case, I would just appreciate Amazon putting in a hint that tells me that or a tutorial, so I can let my mind rest. Number 8 is the hatchet. Although I like the idea of dual-wield axes, I'm actually not talking about that with the hatchet here, and the design of a one-handed hatchet is kind of unique. And I like how the hatchet operates in general. It's actually just the way it's put away and sheathed on your hip. The hatchet currently is on the sword side with the head facing down, where no one would ever carry a hatchet. Again, just like with the Warhammer, New World has gone for at least a semi-realistic take on a lot of these weapons. And the hatchet should very clearly be on your right hip with the blade up. And you should pull it out by grabbing up near the head and readjusting your hand down to the base of the item. Number 9 is the chest visibility. Throughout a lot of quests or a lot of landmarks in the game, you will come across ancient coffers, supply crates, provision chests, whatever it might be. And these items have a slight glow to them when you can loot them. My problem is that once you've cleared an area or you're in a particularly annoying landmark and you're looking for 2 more chests than you have, but you've been over everything you've seen, it's hard to figure out what chests you need to get. Or a more clear indicator that I've already looted a chest so I don't run back over to it. It might be too much work for Amazon, but having the chests close whenever they've been looted, or the provisions or supplies be out of them and then be empty once I've looted them. Or something smaller like a slightly increased glow from what they have now. This wasn't a problem most of the time, but in some of the landmarks like farmsteads, where they have tall corn or crops growing, it can be really hard to see chests and figure out where they are placed. And I ended up just running around some landmarks over and over looking for that one more chest I hadn't gotten. And finally, number 10, the biggest dislike I have, the one everyone has, the one we can all agree on. Rainbow lions. The rainbow lion sitting on everyone's porches. This housing item is terrible looking. It doesn't make any sense in the setting of New World. It completely breaks immersion. And there are a lot of other different styles they could have gone with that would have looked cool, like a corrupted lion, a lion in a cage, a zombie lion, I don't care. But the rainbow lion is so bright, it sits out of place, it doesn't share theme or color with anything else in the game, and it makes no sense. And if you're going to keep him in the game, at least go with some suggestions I've seen, like allowing the player to select whose house is displayed out of the top 10, so you could pick somebody's that doesn't have a rainbow lion in it. Alright guys, that was 10 small details that I disliked in the New World Closed Beta that I hope can be adjusted or changed over time. Why don't you let me know down in the comments some small details or features that you didn't care for or you'd like to see adjusted. Hopefully this video was entertaining for you. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.